Hi, this is Rahul Kapoor, and today I wish to talk to you about the power of speaking, the impact that it creates on great communication processes that take place between human beings. We are always talking and communicating with people, aren't we, to get small and big jobs done. And a lot of us believe that communication starts and ends with talking. Well, surprisingly, it's exactly the opposite. Great communicators are awesome listeners. They are patient listeners. They are active listeners. Well, as much as we talk about listening, a lot of us pretend as though we are listening. For example, when someone's talking, we might be quiet, and therefore we believe being quiet is listening. But what we are doing deep down our mind is sometimes creating our own response, building up what we should be saying next. We should also remember that a lot of times we are in a situation that we are cut off, we are not open to people, we are creating walls and barriers not to allow the message to seep in through. And therefore, what really happens is instead of having powerful communications, we land up having unnecessary conflicts and arguments, sometimes discussions which have absolutely no results that it brings in. Yet we so easily fool ourselves, so easily cheat ourselves by saying that we are really listening. Here's what I would like you to do. Try and experiment these small little things and see the difference that it can make to your life and those communications that you're having with people. First up, when someone is talking to you, the best thing is to listen empathetically. Listen with an open mind. Listen actively. Now, what do I mean by all of these? When I say that you need to listen empathetically, it means that you shall allow the other person to speak without creating your own judgments of what the person is saying. In fact, your entire focus should be try and empathize with what the other person is trying to say. Not only listen to what he's saying, try and pick up on the verbal cues, the non-verbal cues, the emotion that is hidden behind, and perhaps also try and ask questions. When you start asking questions, you become an active listener. You start giving the message to the person, and that is really where great communication begins. When the other person begins to feel that you're both listening and you're trying to understand, that is when he himself becomes a lot more open, a lot more easygoing in his communication. And what shall happen really is nothing but having absolutely powerful results at the end of that conversation. So here's my message to all of you. Remember, there are verbal and non-verbal cues of good listeners. Verbal cues could be like asking reflective questions, probing a little bit, trying to look at the cues that the other person is trying to give you. Try and build up on that. On the other hand, you yourself need to understand that you are also displaying some non-verbal cues, aren't you? For example, your eye contact. Listen to the person and also make sure you look at the person. Nod your head in agreement whenever you wish to. Be patient. Allow the person to complete. Do not interject. Do not disturb him. Do not argue. Do not cut him off. Allow the person to share his views. And then clarify, ask him questions and check whether what you've understood, what you've heard and understood is correct. And the person says yes, take a moment off, pause, don't react, and then start to respond. You see the amazing results that you can get. And of course, not just get results in that conversation, but also build great relationships. Great listeners always make great communicators, and great communicators always build great relationships. Here's to you and that wonderful potential to build great relationships via great listening. This is Rahul Kapoor saying goodbye and have a great day.